Right, here you go, friends. It's kind of late, but I'm trying to do one of these reading per one chapter per day of Aunt Barb's Magic Oven. And well, one reason for one reason or another, I didn't get to it this morning while I was busy doing the video for my daughter Sunshine, it being her birthday today. Yeah, yeah. So before I go to bed, I thought I'd better get chapter 19 in for you, if that would be okay. All right. This one again, Aunt Barb's Magic Oven, Anchors Aweigh. All right. One segment of the parade really got to the older members of the family. Truthfully, it got to me as well. A large and thick fog appeared on the avenue. You couldn't see into it more than an inch or so. From within the cloud, you could hear something like a marching band. The sound was low at first, but grew in strength as a chorus began to sing from inside the cloud. Yeah, like fog, yes. They were singing Anchors Aweigh. The singing got louder. Some old sailors along the route sang along with the chorus. But they soon broke into tears as a full-sized battleship rolled out of the fog. I don't know how they did it, but the ship actually rolled as if it were at sea. There was water under it. It looked just like an ocean. The ship's crew was turned out in their dress blues and were manning the rail. It turns out that they were doing the singing. It was them that was doing the singing as they stood at parade rest. The older family members, especially my father and Uncle Bill, were gulping back tears. Grandma and all her girls, well, they were crying too. I wasn't far behind them as this beautiful ship rolled out of the mist. It was the Arizona, back from Pearl Harbor and looking like new. The parade showed no sign of coming to an end. There was just one thing after another. I never saw anything like it. There was even a segment where a kind of vortex came down the parade route and shrouded the block in darkness. Well, it was a kind of darkness and a kind of light also. You could say it was both at once. Robotic rolling speakers alongside the worm-like apparition appeared invited one and all to walk through the walls of the vortex and into the cylinder. Only a few were brave enough to accept the offer. I guess you could call it a tube or maybe a worm. Perhaps it was more like a tunnel made of energy. It crawled like a snake down the street. I don't know if anyone else heard it, but I would say the energy worm sounded, kind of emitted a low-pitched hum, kind of a like that, yes. A brave camera operator stuck his camera through the wall of the tunnel so the folks at home could see inside. There in Barb and Bill's television room, we could see that the middle of the tube was both dark and light at the same time inside. It's funny, but the opposite wall of the tube from inside appeared to be hundreds of miles away. The outside diameter of the tube was certainly no more than maybe 40 feet tops. There were tubes within the tube. And not to be gross, but to me it looked as if we were seeing in the inside of a huge abdominal cavity. There were worm-like tubes of all sizes, humming and squirming as far as the eye could see. The cameraman must have somehow gotten his camera through the wall of a larger tube, and thanks to him, we could see yet another parade taking place within that tube. It was a parade within a parade. What we saw was almost like the tail end of an assembly line. It was like we were on a reviewing stand surveying creation. Mountains marched by, followed by a company of sewing needles, followed by hamburgers, followed by tire irons, followed by, well, you name it. You name it. We had the feeling that if you stayed long enough, you'd see every object and every living being as it or they marched through the tube and out into the light of existence. None of the announcers had any idea of what we were all seeing, but it sure was a sight to see. Mostly they were all speechless, like we were back in the television room at Aunt Barb's and Uncle Bill's. My father said how he'd like to see how they made dancing girls. Well, that broke the silence. Mom threw a pillow threw a pillow at the old man, and in fact, we all threw a pillow at him except for me. I wanted to know how they made dancing girls too. I just knew enough to keep my mouth shut. A knock at the door shook us all loose. From our television trance. Grandma looked at me and winked. She figured that our guest must have arrived. Cousin Renee went to answer the door. Grandma was already on her feet. She put the turkey back on the sofa and grabbed my arm. We both just stood there in deep anticipation. Renee hollered from the front door, "Grandma and Cousin Mike, it's Pope John Paul and President Reagan. They want to come in and speak with you. Actually, they want to talk with all of us. They say that the turkey smells great." Grandma grabbed my hand and we walked to the front door. You know, our guests were right. The turkey really did smell very good indeed. Something told me that a new parade was forming up. Well, there you go, friends. I'll get some sleep and we'll do chapter 20 tomorrow, okay? We'll see you later. And thank you. God bless.